Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and today I'm very excited to bring you the first episode of the 2020 Creative Reset series. If you guys have not seen the announcement video, I'll have that link down below so you guys can check it out. And I'll also have the playlist link down below in case you're watching this in the future, because all of these techniques that we're going over can still apply any time of the year whenever you're looking to reset that creative juices and get everything flowing again. So for today's video, we're actually reflecting back on 2019. It is almost over, sadly, but the fun is not over. So today, we're going to be looking back at some of our favorite things and our not so favorite things. And this will lead us right into our next episode that'll come out next week, all about goal setting. So in order to figure out what goals we want, we need to look at where we are currently, what we've gotten done, and all sorts of stuff like that. So even if you didn't get to craft as much as you wanted, you'll still be able to get some stuff out of this episode, even though we're talking a lot about project-based items. We're also talking about different things you can do to change it, to make your creativity time more purposeful and all that kind of stuff as well. So, and don't forget, you can head over to my blog where I'll have a free printable worksheet that coordinates with this video. So if you haven't gotten that yet, I encourage you to pause the video, go click the link down below, get that printable, print it out, and start writing as you listen to this video, because it'll be really helpful for the next video to have all these things written down and remembered, or you can just type them on your phone or whatever you prefer. So let's start with reflecting on our projects. What projects did you get to complete or make progress in during 2019? I think it's really important for all of us to realize that we make big things happen, even if it's small steps at a time, but every time we complete something, it's a step in the right direction. So for me, personally, I got to finish this lovely album right here. This is my Vermont 2017 album. I often call it my Vermont 2016 album because I often forget what year we went to Vermont. But that's okay, we'll be flipping through this later. But you should start thinking about not even just projects you completed, but things you made headway on. Did you finish half of your album from 2014, or complete the journaling in your December daily? Or if you tallied your layouts, did you get 25, 50, 75, 100 more? Did you catch up on all of your project life that you wanted to? Did you get to print all the photos you wanted to? Did you maybe make birthday cards for everyone in your family this year? What was something that you accomplished that you are proud of? And whatever you think of, whatever you are so happy that you accomplished, please write it in the comments down below so we can celebrate along with you. I will be happy to give you a congratulations in the comments down below. So leave one down below and then go comment back on someone else's saying congratulations on their success, because we're all trying to make our stories heard. And these little successes are big things. Even if it's just printing out your photos, that is a huge step. One, it takes money, it takes time, it takes energy, and sometimes we're the only people in our families trying to capture these stories. So even just printing photos can really just last for decades. It's just amazing. So congrats to all of you. I'm sure I'm going to love reading all of your stories of things you have succeeded at in 2019. And again, it could be something that I didn't mention. It could be anything really under the sun. It could be you finished a painting you started. It could be you bought the supplies to start scrapbooking. It could be you finally bought a traveler's notebook because that's what you've always wanted to try. Or maybe you finally bought a silhouette for Christmas this year, and you're really excited to try that out in 2020. But I guess I will talk about some of my successes this year, and I think that will, when we go into goals, I'll be able to show you guys how I got through to all these successes. So we'll get to that. But today we're just reflecting, we're just thinking, and we're manifesting these good things to also happen in 2020. So like I said, this was one album I finished. So this was a 2017 album. I believe I did start it at the end of 2017. I'd gotten these photos printed. And I will say, my project planning is not the best. So I have a huge stack of photos that did not end up making it into this album. However, I do plan on putting them in the back of the album, just so they're all together, because I printed them, I might as well keep them. But this little album right here is the third 6x8 album I've ever completed. And by completed, I did not finish the journaling yet, but everything else is in here. Journaling takes me a long time to write out, and I also haven't decided if I want to do it typed or just handwritten, and I need to look up some of the dates on here as well. And this fell off, so this is going well. Clearly it's not finished, but this was a really, really fun project to work on. I think I really didn't have much finish in it when I started it this year, and this was actually accomplished through couch scrapbooking, if you guys have not heard of that. Adele from Inky Quill got me hooked on the phrase of it, but it's essentially where you make a kit and bring it somewhere else. I often scrapbooked on my living room floor, but there's obviously a lot of different places you could take a kit to scrapbook. I know there's one lady I watch, her name's Becky Bidding. She scrapbooked in her car for a little while, unless I'm getting the wrong person, but I'm pretty sure it was Becky. And you know, I finished it. I'm not going to do a full flip through here, but I was really excited to finish this, and I really went outside my style for some of these pages. I went out of order to complete this album because I had design team things I wanted to do and all sorts of stuff. I need to cover this one page, but it's a divider is there to indicate the change in topic. And I mean, I really whipped through the last couple of pages here because I was like, I want more photos. I don't need all this pretty stuff. And, you know, it really flew by, but it takes time and energy. So don't think that these aren't worth something. A 6x8 album, a traveler's notebook, finishing a page is something big. It's a story told, which is important. All stories are. And that's something to be proud of. So write down one of your accomplishments. This was one of my favorite ones. I also completed my 2016 Christmas album. I started that during the 2017 Christmas time, and I finished it during Christmas in July this year. So if you need motivation, sometimes challenges are a great way to go. Another thing that I really wanted to accomplish this year was a lot of layouts. That's always one of my goals, is a number of X, Y, and Z. So layouts and cards are some of the things I focus on. So far in 2019, I've created 155 layouts. That could be 12 by 12. That could be 6 by 8. That includes some of the 6x8s in here. It could be a pocket page. It could be anything. So 155 layouts. Generally, they're mostly 12 by 12, but that includes 8.5 by 11. Anything that's considered a layout. And then I've created 41 cards. So I haven't compared that to my goals last year because right now we're just reflecting. We're thinking about the great things we've done. That's way more than I thought I'd created, and I'm not even sure that's an accurate number. I write them down generally in my bullet journal, but that doesn't mean it's 100% concrete. So if you guys tally your layouts, how many did you create? Are you really happy with that number? I hope you are, because that's a bunch of stories told. Even if it's just a handful of layouts, those are stories on paper that ideally last forever with acid-free materials and all of that jazz. But what are some of your favorite layouts or projects you've made this year? Let's reflect on this. It doesn't have to be finished ones. Obviously, most layouts are completed, but like if you have a project you started, was it an album about me? Was it your baby album, or was it your son's baby album because he's a senior in high school and you really want to get it finished? There's so many special stories that we tell, and I'd really love to show you guys some of my favorite layouts. Now, most of these were picked from design, but I also have some favorites just based on the stories. So I have a little stack here. While we continue to chat, I will be sharing these. I wish they were in a little bit more of an organized pile, but it looks like we're going for the messy look today. And sorry if they're a little bit cut off. I think my camera's in a different angle today, but like I said, some of these I just love because of the design and creative work I got to do, and sometimes it was the story I was telling, or the photos made me really happy. So here are some great layouts that I enjoyed. I'm going to flip through these while I continue to talk about today's topic. So although layouts are the end game, the albums are the end game, the traveler's notebooks are the end game. It's, you know, leaving this legacy behind, or, you know, sometimes it's just the creative process that we need. I will tell you right now, I don't look at my finished layouts very often. I don't look at my finished albums very often. No one does, for that matter. I'm pretty much the only one who does look at them at this time, but that doesn't mean they're not important. But what is important to me especially is this creative process. So what part of the process do you enjoy the most? Is it picking out the photos? Is it taking the photos? Like living in those moments and then being able to remember them and write them down? Is it the actual making of the layout? Is it mixed media? Is it, you know, the techniques you enjoy, you know, trying different things and having fun with it? Or is it the fact that you get to remember a moment in time in a unique way and being able to express that through paper and stickers and pretty fun things? There's a lot of different elements that go into scrapbooking, and I think we often forget that stories are important, photos are important, but so is the process itself, going through the photos, printing out which ones you want, you know, just selecting what stories you're going to tell is important. So here's one of the most sentimental stories I've covered so far, and most recently in 2019, and this was for my patrons on Patreon, so they get exclusive stuff over there, but there's still tons of favorite layouts I've shared over here. So as for things that I enjoyed this year in terms of techniques in the process, I enjoyed coloring stamped images. That's more so with the card making aspect, but I've given away a lot of my cards, so I don't have many to show you guys. But I did enjoy stamping on my layouts as well. I enjoyed multi-photo pages. It's always been something I appreciate when people do them, and I think people have started appreciating when I get to share new ideas through my multi-photo pages. But don't worry, I have some single ones thrown in there as well. Another thing I enjoyed was layering paper. I experimented with a lot more paper this year. I thought I was doing a lot of clean and simple layouts before, or simplistic, where there would just be, you know, some mixed media, then one layer, and then my photo, things like that. I really loved puffy stickers. Of course, I don't think any of my examples here of puffy stickers. They have some foam though. I guess in other words, I liked putting texture and dimension and making those work together to go with the theme or the different sort of mood and feel going with the layout. So that was fun for me to experience with, or experiment with, textures and heights and dimension and that kind of stuff. And then we can talk about the things I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy mixed media as much. I know I just did a mixed media layout, so it sounds a little bit off the cuff, but I really ignored mixed media for a good while. I did shakers for a while. I'm now off of the shaker high. I'm still doing some here and there, but I don't find I'm doing them as much. And another thing I didn't love this year, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. Let's emphasize our words here. They're still nice words. We're not hating things, we're just disliking things. If you noticed on any of these layouts, there's no journaling. I suck at journaling in terms of I'm very lazy. Because it's very hard for me to pick which story to tell. And I mean, even just these ones right here, I could pick a million different things to tell. I could talk about the specific day. I could talk about how we'd never seen these flowers before. We could talk about the shirt that I love that I'm wearing. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to journaling on completed layouts, I often just wait way too long to do it, and we'll go over things that will propel us to overcome these obstacles we find are our struggles or our roadblocks that we find along the way, the things we don't like. I don't like photo organization. I don't like putting away layouts. Really, my favorite part is the creative process. I love figuring out how to tell a story with the photos and the paper and not needing additional words, but obviously I love storytelling as well, because here I am storytelling to you guys about the process that we can go through to become better at storytelling, better at photo organization. Just small tips so that we can become on top of these things that we find as roadblocks or obstacles, and really just make the whole process enjoyable. And we'll be going over that in this entire series as much as possible. I know that not everything will work for everyone, but I hope you guys do get something out of it at some point. So having these enjoyments and dislikes, do you realize there's been changes over the years? I know I used to be into more mixed media than I am now. This is a fake mixed media layout. I love the look of it. I just don't often like getting messy, I've realized. Stamping I can deal with. This one had stamping on it, but like the paint and the drying time, those are things I generally do not like to do on my layouts, but I still love the look of them. So you can see how it's like a catch-22 where things that we dislike can also be things that we do like. So while we can identify some of our happy points, so things that we loved working on, things that we loved doing, things that we felt were the most valuable, and how we can also identify those lower points, stories that were a struggle to tell, stories that were hard to capture on paper, parts of the process you didn't like. These can help us really find a direction for next year, to pick a focus of something we need to work on or that we need to pay more attention to. And as we go through this process, you guys will find, and in the worksheet, you'll be able to see these things as well as you go through. Identifying these things can really help us later on when we're trying to define our goals, or if we're trying to, get out of a creative rut. Having these things written down will severely help you. Majorly help you. And again, this might not work for everyone. I'm just thinking the general public, can be helped by identifying these things that make us, super happy, the really great things, the really fun things, the things that we're excited about, and then the not so great things. There's always something that we like and something we dislike for every aspect of almost anything in life. So there's nothing different about scrapbooking other than it's a prettier hobby. So these were some of my favorite layouts throughout this year, and guys, I mean, there was 150 layouts this year. I don't know where they all are, but they're somewhere. I can tell you for like right this instant, not even a quarter of them are in Pocket Pages or in where they're supposed to be. So a majority of my layouts are still just sitting around. They're not in albums. They're not journaled on. They don't have dates. A majority of my layouts are like that, and I think it's important to identify that even though I am on YouTube, I am a YouTube scrapbooker, I'm not perfect, and I break the rules of scrapbooking. I mean, putting them in layout or putting them in scrapbooks themselves is kind of important, but that's something I neglect, and that's something I'm looking forward to working on. But this was one of my last favorite layouts I had to share with you guys. I'm going to flip back through them while I wrap up this video, but I know this one's short, but I promise there's going to be some longer videos to come on this topic. And the first month of the 2020 Creative Reset will be quite rigorous. So make sure you go head over to my blog, grab the printable if you haven't already, take some notes with those prompts in there, because we'll be readdressing those in later episodes of the 2020 Creative Reset. And if you're interested in giving a bigger head start on your 2020 goals, I am doing a more in-depth version of the 2020 Creative Reset over on my Patreon, which starts at just $1 a month. They get 4 blog posts that'll be associated with the Creative Reset, where they can get more information about, defining your likes and dislikes and really identifying issues that you might not be realizing that you're having. All sorts of fun stuff over there. But these were some of my favorite layouts. If you guys have a specific layout of mine that you loved this year, I would love to know which one it is. I know a lot of people do those top 20, I think, layouts of XYZ year. I'm not sure if I'll end up doing one of those. I have a really hard time remembering what I've created during which year. In fact, I wasn't even sure this was created this year, and I'm still not sure it was. But I think I got this paper pad this year, so I think it had to have been. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, you can check out the blog post down below for your free printable, and also head over to Patreon if you're interested in more for this entire series I plan on doing over there as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this first episode and you found it valuable along with the printable over on the blog, please let me know in the comments. I definitely want to know what you guys want to see during this entire series. And again, the next one is goal setting and goal evaluations and trying to figure out, applying these things that we love and the things we struggle with and focusing on improving ourselves while we also, make things in the end goal version of what we love. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and you can turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of the 2020 Creative Reset episodes. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!